Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to my boss guides, this time for the level 77 dungeon, Malikah's Well. This is unlocked throughout the main scenario storyline, and this dungeon offers some interesting boss fights. The first of which is an Armadillo. The greater Armadillo then has some abilities to note. Stone Flail will chunk your tank, and at the same time this impact causes circles to appear on the floor to avoid. This is where boulders from the ceiling will fall down and do damage. Head Toss is a stack marker, so soak this with your party in the center of the room. Straight after Head Toss you will see the ability Right Round being cast, and a tether to where the spiked ball landed from the stack marker will be drawn to the boss. The boss will lunge forwards here to where the ball is and then do an immediate spin attack. So basically when you're stacking for the stack marker, then run away quickly from where you stacked and you will be completely fine. Flail Smash is a proximity based attack. Be far away from the epicenter in the middle of this attack to be safe. You will note that the sides of the room now will be filled with AoEs, along with the usual boulder AoEs as well. Move inwards and find a safe area, as the outer room will get smashed hard here. At around 71%, 2 adds will spawn. These are fairly easily dealt with, so burst these down before they become a problem. More boulders and flail attacks will continue, with head toss stacks and other large scale AoEs to avoid on repeat until this boss dies. Boss 2 is the Amphibious Talus. F-Ace is the tank buster of the fight to prepare for when you see this cast. Well Bore is an ability that fills the inner area of the arena with an AoE, and then the boss will plunge a massive drill into the ground. This then causes smaller AoEs to appear in a room, which you must move from as they erupt into water geysers after a few seconds. The boss will be casting high pressure at this point, which is a knockback, so ideally you don't want to be knocked backwards into the water geysers if you can help it at all, but as you can see they do very little damage. Next up is Swift Spill. This is where you see a rotation arrow around the boss, marking where the boss will next face as he rotates. During this attack, the boss does a conal attack in each facing position until he goes all the way round. Simply stand behind him to avoid this and strafe around. Along with more well bores, spinning conal attacks, and tank busters, that's pretty much all this boss has in its arsenal, and should die pretty easily as a result. On to the third and last boss then. This is where it gets quite interesting. This is Storge, and he has some cool abilities to learn here. Intestinal Crank is just your AoE to heal through if you're the healer throughout this fight. Heretics Fork is where multiple triangle shapes on each face of an AoE with balls at each point. The safe zone to avoid the damage is actually diagonal from these balls. You'll know this if you've ever done Alexander, but if not, just stand diagonally of them. Learn this now to save time later in the fight when they do these in succession. Breaking Wheel is where a safe zone will appear under the boss that you must stand in. Crystal Nail will summon 4 AoE circles on the floor. Don't stand in these immediately, as these rhapsodic nails will actually come down and spawn there. Breaking Wheel again will have a safe zone under the boss that you move to stand in, but then soon after the attack the boss will cast Censure. This actually enables AoEs under each of the rhapsodic nail wings one by one. You need to stand in the safe zone under each of these wings until they fade and then move to the next, until finally you're back in the safe zone under the boss for Breaking Wheel. This repeats throughout the fight, so get used to it now. After a fair bit of repetition you will reach about 50% or so, and the boss will begin to mix things up, i.e. Heretic Fork lines to avoid, as well as wing adds that will spawn into Censure to stand under each one again. At this point you will also see multiple Heretics Forks appear at the same time. The basic principle is the same. You're basically looking for a safe zone diagonal to the balls on each side, but obviously now you have to take into the account multiple lines from the multiple Heretic Forks. In this demonstration I actually move inside a couple of these to avoid a line and then move out to avoid the next. It's key then to remember which fork spawned first and so on, as this will allow you to know which will actually go off first, and then you can stand accordingly since not all of them go off at once. It's pretty easy to understand and replicate once you do it the first time. And that's pretty much the whole fight. The multiple Heretics Fork mechanic seems to confuse quite a few people in Duty Finder, but as long as you do remember which one is going off first and so on, and make a note of that mentally, it's quite simple and you shouldn't have any issues, and the boss will eventually die. Either way, thank you kindly for watching this video, hopefully it was helpful in some manner, and I'll see you all next time.